okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Getting addicted to anything is a really bad idea. I know many of you guys don't understand this, but I'm telling you right now, seriously, addictions lead to bad things to the point where your emotions get everywhere. And this one teacher, let's just say her emotions got to the wrong places. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy but super embarrassing story. Now, today's story all takes place back in my grade 9 year. Now, in grade 9, I was a simple kid. I'm not gonna lie. I had no bad intentions whatsoever, and I wasn't the playboy that you guys all think I am. Which, to be fair, I ended up transforming into one. Like, I mean, look at me. I'm kind of, you know, one of those guys. But at the same time, though, I'm not gonna lie, back in grade 10, it was a lot worse. Okay, I've kind of settled down now. Consider me retired. But in my grade 9 specifically, where this story starts, I will say I was a pretty basic dude. And I remember one time for my grade 9 classes I remember I had this one certain class called language arts. Now, language arts is a course where you don't learn anything about language nor arts. And I remember when I walked into my language arts class, there was this one teacher that we had where in the beginning of the school year, she was amazing. I remember a lot of students ended up talking about her, and she even got a good rating on ratemyteacher.com. If you guys don't know what that is, trust me, it's old school. You guys wouldn't know what it is. But like I was saying, I remember I ended up basically loving this teacher, and going to that class was never really, I guess, a bad thing. Until over time, this teacher started to get really close with other students. Now, I'm not saying it's bad for a teacher to get close with students. Like, obviously, it's part of her job to be, I guess, relatable and, you know, opening to like other kids. But what I will say is that when you get too close, students start to get too comfortable, and so does the teacher, to the point where bad choices start getting made. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, trust me, you'll understand in the storyline, but maybe you guys have gone through this, and it's not a good thing. But anyways, like I was saying, throughout the school year, I want to say in our 3rd month in, she became really weird. I don't know why, but she started to get worse, I would say, to the point where she started basically making really bad jokes, and for some reason, she also ended up basically being kind of racist. And not only just that, but she was preferring girls more than the guys. It got to the point where it really started becoming a chore to go in that classroom, and it made things a lot worse. And no, I'm not a snitch to go tell my school counselor, because honestly, I was never really in that mindset, nor did I want a bad rep in my high school. I remember a lot of students in our class also started having an issue with her, but none of them ended up saying anything. But there was one dude in our class where he actually never complained about her at all. If anything, he was the closest one to the teacher. And this one student that was in our class, well, he was a major pothead, or stoner is a better word for putting it. So he smelled terrible all the time. No joke, it was so disgusting even sitting next to him, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the smell of devil's lettuce. But maybe you guys do. But I'm gonna say this right now, it is not a good thing to do, and it also kills brain cells, okay? So this guy is like next to dumb, okay? But still, he was someone that no one really liked, but still was really connected with the teacher. At this point, I was actually even considering leaving the class and just leaving this teacher because, well, I don't know, she was just being super rude. But then afterwards, as I'm sitting down in the school bathroom and I was taking a fat dump, I ended up hearing this stoner guy, as he's hitting his, you know, pen or whatever, he ended up talking to this other guy on the phone saying, "Yeah, bro, this teacher, she's giving me the best deals, man. And honestly, I don't even gotta do my homework. Life is good, bro. Life is good." I didn't know what he meant by this, so I ended up coming out of the bathroom stall, and he looks at me, he's like, "Yo, bro, did you just hear everything I just said?" Yeah, but you know, I don't care. "Yo, bro, let me tell you right now, bro, Mrs. B, she be getting lit." "Wait, what do you mean getting lit?" "Nah, man, nothing. I said too much." And he ended up leaving out of there with his disgusting odor. But as the days went on, I started noticing really weird things that this student was doing. Like, for example, every time he handed in homework, he ended up handing it in like a roll. Like, he would roll his homework up in like a scroll and handed it to the teacher. I didn't know why, because no other student did this other than him, until one day. I remember our teacher was having like a really bad breakdown. Even like in the middle of class, like during our language arts, she ended up like complaining about her divorce, to the point where this teacher ended up leaving the classroom just to go and cool off. None of us understood what was going on, but all teachers deserve breaks. Until I remember, as this teacher ended up leaving the classroom, the stoner kid that we all knew in our class ended up walking out with her. Now, at this moment, I mean, you guys could probably connect the dots on what she was doing, but where she was doing it and how she was doing it is the worst part. Because I remember when after school came around, I ended up picking up textbooks from my locker that I had, and as I was picking up my science textbook, out of nowhere, I ended up seeing this stoner kid walk by me, which I could smell him from a mile away, but he walks by me and he ends up going into the classroom of our language arts class. I was really confused on why, until I ended up going in there and I saw him handing a bag to her of, well, the
devil's lettuce.
At this moment, I was really confused, and I noticed that our teacher ended up actually doing,
Devil's lettuce.
But I didn't want to say anything because obviously I didn't want to get in trouble, nor make this teacher hate me even more, since she was already kind of hating on all guys since she was going through a divorce. So I ended up ignoring it, and I went to go hang out with my friends in the high school field. I ended up telling them what I saw and everything, and as we were, talking and stuff, we ended up actually watching the cheer squad practice their cheerleading because, they were hot and we were, teenage boys. Like, can you really blame me for wanting to watch cheerleaders? And as we're watching them, I remember one of the girls ended up coming up to us saying, "Oh my goodness, guys, honestly, bro, no joke, the girls' change room smells so disgusting." Wait, what do you mean smells disgusting? Like, I don't know why, but like it smells like the
Devil's lettuce.
And all the girls in the cheerleading squad are always getting in trouble every week because for some reason, like halfway through the school year, the girls' change room always just smelled the worst. I was so confused on why it smelled really bad, and it got to the point where I decided to basically do my own investigating. I ended up going towards the guys' change room, and I went in there to see if the weird odor was coming from the guys' change room from the stoner guy. But I realized that the guys' change room just smelled like sweaty socks like it usually does. So I ended up going into the girls' change room. By the way, don't ever do this. Don't go into the girls' change room. It is not a good idea, and it may seem creepy. But for this video, we did it for science, okay? It was for science. And when I went inside the girls' change room, I ended up noticing that there was a weird odor that the girls were talking about, and it smelled like the
Devil's lettuce.
for sure. So at that moment, I walk in there, and I realize when I open the door, a cloud of smoke just comes out. I'm like, dude, somebody's hotboxing the girls' change room. And when I walked in there expecting to see a cheerleader, I ended up seeing our language arts teacher smoking like a crazy person. I remember I looked at her and she looks at me, and the first thing she says to me is, "Oh my goodness, don't tell anyone." Yeah, I don't know what to think, is what I said to her. And then she ended up asking me the proper question of, "Wait, what are you doing in the girls' change room? You can get in trouble for this." The same way you can get in trouble for smoking
Devil's lettuce.
in the girls' change room. Okay, Bubba, you cannot tell anyone. You understand me? I'll literally do anything. Anything, huh? And no, what I did ask from her is not what you guys think, okay? We did not do the
Devil's tango.
This story, actually, funny enough, does not have that. What I ended up actually asking her to do was to basically let me be free from my homework. So I remember throughout that entire school year, I let the stoner teacher basically let me not have any homework for the rest of the school year, and always made sure that whenever assignments were handed out, I wouldn't have to do it. No joke, I would literally grab the piece of paper that she would hand me if it was homework and toss it out, knowing that no matter what, I was gonna get an A just for her to keep my secret. This worked for like, I want to say a month of the semester, but her habits and addiction ended up getting worse to the point where the principal found out what was going on because of the school security cameras, and yeah, not gonna lie, she got fired. This just goes to show that her brain cells were so fried and so gone that she got herself fired. So my advice, don't do the
Devil's lettuce.
and don't, I guess let your teachers do it as well. I have no idea. But if you guys enjoyed the story, click on one of the videos on screen right now and follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. All right, peace out, guys.